as we begin to engage our self-dialogue, our practices, our thought processes, as we're sitting at the stoplight or we're walking down the street, the way in which we start to talk to ourselves starts to reattune itself into positivity, into bringing ourselves into even course correcting with acknowledgement of like, hey, we could really tweak that, but bringing that into, and I can understand where that came from. Now let's see the way that would bring us more balance, right? So our actions and our thoughts and our behaviors and just the energy of our aura starts to be in alignment with the whispers of our heart and our soul and the divine. Right? And so if you are new to me to this podcast, hello. This is my simple framework. This is what I teach in all the different pockets at different levels. And this one, it's kind of a pocket-sized version of it, but it's a powerful framework of just 3 simple steps, right? Of how to begin again. And it's based and housed in the contemplation skills of self-reflection, which equals conscious, manifestation that is really grounded in the mystical laws, right? It's grounded in the laws of creation. And that's what I share with you at the end of each episode. And that's what each episode is built around. So just real quick for in case you're new to me, and I did this with season 1, but we'll do it here in season 2, because repetition is golden. The more we fire, the more we use those neurons and those pathways, the more that we bring them in. Is step 1 of my 3-step simple framework process is set the intention. Right? People ask me, Michelle, what is your manifestation thing? How do you do all the things you do? Right? And I go, this is it. It's like really simple, rinse and repeat. You just got to do it. Right? So we're going to set that intention first. We're going to awaken up to something in our soul that goes, oh, hey, I think I want to do this differently. I think I want to begin anew, right? I want to bring more freedom into my choice. I want to feel more comfort or courage or excitement about something. And I want to go from feeling like surviving to thriving, from good to great, to awesome, to amazing, all those things. So that's number 1. We have to set our intention of what specifically that is. It's one thing to say, I want to feel amazing. And I go, okay, great. Pick one thing. Because again, I said this is based in the mystical laws of creation. So where we bring our attention will flow our, like that puts gravity in something. And so that's our root chakra. And then it starts to open up into that cause and effect. As I now have this as my choice maker, I am now starting to unhook myself from the karmic wheel of cause and effects that just keeps trolling. And I'm starting to say, okay, this is the one I actually want to feed and work with, which means I'm going to have to make new choices, which means I'm going to have new postures, which means I'm going to have to, right? And so my cause and effect wheel starts to shift and change. And then from the 2nd chakra, now we can move up to that 3rd chakra, our will center. This is that law of attraction. As I'm now making new choices and I'm starting to have my focus in one place and starting to bring that in, and I'm matching all the way down to like course correcting and bringing in and seeing where I'm putting ingredients in and being like, whoops, let me pull that out and put something else in. Now we're working with the true law of manifestation instead of just the wishful thinking. And we all know the acronym that goes with wish and thinking and what happens in the other hand, and tell me which one fills up first, right? So we want to be bringing this in through rooted, grounded, beautiful energy. Our heart starts to open up with that belief system, that feeding our heart and our soul and sensing into the currents and the choices and the dialogue that matches and feeds that. We start to express that with our beautiful 5th chakra. We start to be able to talk about it, share it, live it, be it, and we can start to see it, hear it, engage. Our literal senses begin to shift to become more attuned to what we're now looking for. So instead of looking for ways in which people are going to spur me or I'm going to do that to myself, I'm starting to look at ways that I can move into motion through partnership, through love, through excitement, through joy, through curiosity, through imagination. All these other things my system begins to be in alignment with. And then I'm able to just truly free up my mind from those limiting beliefs that still might be holding on. I call these like the Uber protectors, who are a little bit like sitting back and they're watching and they're like, show me, we can do the Jerry Maguire I just dated myself. Show me the money, like we can do that. And those are the parts that are sitting back. As we start to gain more momentum and we build more and more alignment within our system with this, then our mind starts to be able to see it, perceive it, and move beyond the protective mechanisms. It says, okay, it hands the baton from our mind and our ego trying to figure it out, and it passes it to our heart. And then that opens us up, beautiful whole body system, up through the crown to the soul star chakra, all the way down to our earth star chakra. And again, it just keeps expanding itself and bringing itself more in alignment with who we truly be and less alignment with the path. So this is the simple thing, right? We're going to set that intention first. Then we're going to bring that attention to be put to the different ways in which we see our actions throughout the day, our thoughts throughout the day, and pausing. Beautiful moments of pause so that we can turn towards that piece and say, okay, what's working here? What's not? What are the ways in which things may need to be tended to? Because again, we don't just go off and cut ourselves off from ourselves for giggles. There's a reason there's that ocean there. And so sometimes we need to pause and attend to ourselves, but we also at the same time have the ability to flow with the parts of ourselves then that are ready to move. We can do both at the same time. And to me, a beautiful healing practice, a soulful practice, allows both moments of stillness, unwinding, tending to ourselves, and also engagement and flow that allows us to make new choices, that moves us into committed action that goes with it, right? Because to me, the self-reflection is step one, but step two in step three, those are engagements. Those are saying, okay, now I see this. What do I want to do about it? How do I want to shift it, change it? And this beautiful quote by Jack Kornfield invites us into what you need to do is begin again, right? So we can flow past the normal blocks that are in our system and that are just cut off from the past. So we do have available to us new choices and new opportunities. And the question is, are we going to take it, or are we going to abandon them due to the first part of that quote, past difficulties? So when we engage in our contemplative practices each day in this simple formula, we can give ourselves I even like to say, yes, if you can set yourself up with a real quick looking at that intention and maybe having like a longer 15, 20-minute journaling and reflection exercise, somatic movement with it, whatever way works for you. And then throughout the week, you can just have these check-in points in the beginning of the day, maybe a middle of the day, like, hey, I found this yesterday. How am I doing with that today? And then at the end of the day, again, a short little check-in moment of bringing that in. Little by little, our mental being realizes it's not alone anymore. We are here, because when the mental being was designed to take over and just run automatically was when we did not have the capacity. We were little kiddos. We were trying to make sense of things that were too much, too soon, with too little support, and we didn't have the availability of someone there to help us sort it, make sense of it, and understand it in a way that felt empowering. And so therefore, we end up careening ourselves and separating ourselves off from our true self, because we have to adapt. So I always take our shoes off on sacred ground. And our system is beautiful sacred ground. We don't push it, we don't shove it, we don't spur it, we don't judge it. All of those things, that's the way of the past. It doesn't have love and compassion, right? So when we bring these three steps together with love and compassion and the hidden ingredient of forgiveness, then we start to really allow our mental being to soften, say, oh, I don't have to be in charge anymore. I don't have to be the one working by myself as this lone wolf protector. I can pass the baton. It runs down through the throat chakra and it goes to the heart and it says, hey, heart, here, you and the soul being, you're who's in charge of this now. You're the one that's going to help guide me. And yes, my survival level parts of me are going to be taken care of too, because our soul doesn't want us getting whooped out, right? It's going to try to give us heads up and ways to work with those ripples that might come in from left field, because we're co-creators, not the creator, right? And so we do have left fielders, and we do have things that are outside of our choice points. And the support that we need to work with that is there too. if we can get into this heart and the soul, right? And begin to manifest and empower our true choices and the guidance that comes with it.